A single step was all it took. Fex had moved a single step before Logan had decided to fire without hesitation, and the shot looked powerful. They could tell it was a powerful blow to cause Fex to go flying like that, and it seemed like he hadn't recovered from it because he was still lying on his front on the ground. While looking at Logan, Quinn could see that he wasn't reacting like he usually would. It was like he was shaken, but not from fear of what was happening. No, Logan was too strong of a person for that. It was something else. There weren't many people Logan had trusted, and although it wasn't a long time that they had spent with each other, it felt more special to Logan. No one had ever known as much interest in what he had worked on. Quinn would often ask questions about all his gadgets, and although he couldn't appreciate their true worth, he could tell he treated them with great care. But this fact had made him realize that the two of them weren't that close to each other at all. He now felt like Quinn had used him for his skills. "Logan, please just give us a chance to explain." At that moment, Quinn had taken a step forward. Logan automatically reacted to this and fired once again. "Wait, no!" Logan shouted. However, Quinn felt something like this might have happened, so he was prepared. Suing the shadow, he lifted it to block the energy shot, stopping it midair in the shadow. Then, moving out of the way, he moved his shadow with it, causing the shot to smash and go straight out the window. "We seriously need to stop wrecking these rooms," Borden said. "Quinn, I need an answer for all this, and one that makes sense. If everything doesn't, and I feel like you are lying, well, I don't want to even consider that as an option. You'll understand when I explain everything. I wanted to tell you, Logan. Do you mind if just me and you speak alone?" Quinn asked. As Logan looked around the room, he realized that it would be the better option to just talk to Quinn. It would make it less likely for the others to plan anything while the two of them were talking. But Quinn wanted to talk to Logan alone for a different reason. Right now, he was the only one who knew about the system, and although Fex seemed like he was passed out on the ground, who knew if he was listening in or not? "Give me your neck," Logan demanded. "What? Why?" Quinn asked. "If you want me to trust you, then give me your neck," Logan said once again. Quinn did as asked, and walked over while bending down slightly. Then, when Logan touched Quinn's neck, a part of his suit started to move and form a type of collar around Quinn's neck. "If you try anything funny, that collar will explode," Logan said. Although vampires had great healing abilities, he wasn't so sure he would be able to survive an explosion around the neck. The two of them left the room and headed upstairs to where Logan's room was located. After they left, Fex started to get up from the floor, and around his chest area, a burn mark could be seen. "Who would have thought that little twip would have been so strong?" Fex said as he touched his chest area. It was slowly starting to heal, but wasn't healing as fast as a regular wound, which was a first for Fex. He just wondered what that energy blast was made of. "Good thing I stayed on the floor. I was not ready for that one," he said. "Do you think Quinn is going to be okay?" Peter asked. "Logan is a level 8 user. I know Quinn's strong, but—" "We have to deal with this problem first," Borden said, pointing at the students on the floor. "Maybe Quinn can buy us some time, but if Logan reports us, they still can't do anything without any proof, so we need to get rid of the evidence as quickly as possible." The three of them nodded and got to work. Quinn and Logan were inside their room, and out of habit, Logan had gone to his usual seat when talking to Quinn. "All right, Quinn, I thought we had a fair deal before, but it seems you were hiding more from me than I originally thought, and although I have a great interest in the system, I cannot condone someone who goes around killing random people." Quinn was struggling to think about how to explain this to Logan. Not only that, but if he would believe him, and how would he react to the truth? While deep in his thoughts, an unexpected voice in his head was heard. "Let him touch you again," the system said. "His ability, I think I've figured out what it is. If you touch me, then it will allow me to speak to him, pass over everything I know, and explain everything that happened." Although Quinn thought it would be better if he explained it in his own words, at the same time, he felt like Logan might not believe him if he did. But if it came directly from the system, then there was a chance. "Logan, if you touch me, then the system will be able to explain everything. It will all make sense." Logan was still in his heavy miniature mech suit, apart from one of his hands that had been used to form a collar around Quinn's neck. While in the suit, he felt safe. "I'm putting my trust in you one more time," he said, as Quinn went over with his hand held out. When the two of their hands connected, instead of normal system message, Logan was able to speak clearly to the system. The system was then also able to show images of everything that had happened to Quinn so far, including all of the conversations they had. Usually, a normal human brain wouldn't be able to process all of this information at once, but it was being downloaded into Logan's mind like a hard drive. The system knew this would only work with someone like Logan. Quinn, on the other hand, had no clue what was happening and could just see that Logan was remaining still. Then, after a few minutes, Logan let go of Quinn's hand. He then raised it and touched the collar around his neck, removing it, before sitting back down in his chair. "What happened?" Quinn asked. "I understand why you did what you did, Quinn. If I was in the same situation as you, I don't know how I would be able to handle it. Perhaps I would have chosen to seclude myself even further away from everyone. All the actions you took, I can't blame you, because in a way it was the only thing you could do." After receiving the information, Logan then tried to put himself in Quinn's shoes. Although some of the things he did were bad, could be avoided was a big question. This would ultimately make up Logan's mind whether Quinn was a bad person or not. After running multiple different scenarios in his head, he had found a couple of ways where he would have been able to have come out or done better, but Quinn had never made a truly misguided decision, and even now he was thinking of a way to turn Peter back to normal without hurting anyone. It made him happy to find out that Quinn's character and personality were still the same he thought it was. Still, what made him even happier was he was able to find out more details about the system. How was it possible that someone in this area could create an AI so complex? The AI itself reminded Logan of his ability. The two of them sat there for a while. Logan continued to think of all the things he had learned today. The fact that vampires were real didn't interest him as much as the system part, but now that the two of them were linked, he wanted to know more about them as well. Quinn had remained quiet, unsure how Logan had taken everything he had just learnt, and then Logan suddenly took off the suit and informed the original small black ball he had in his hand before. "You know," Logan said, "I can help you with your problem." "Problem?" "Getting the flesh. There is a way," Logan replied. The three boys had worked fast this time, and because they were in a rush, even Fex had to help beyond his determined contribution, an unusual trait of the young man, for the reason that he was afraid of getting caught. Rather than simply using his influence skill to clear their minds, he also commanded them to follow him. Then, whenever they arrived at a safe place or a random hall, he would break the skill, allowing their minds to be cleared. It also returned them to normal as if nothing had ever happened. The group did the very same thing to all three students, and they were all fully healed as normal. "What are we going to do about the window?" Peter asked. "Don't worry, I can deal with that. I will just make the other two students in the room think that they were in a fight. They can just take the blame," Fex said. Although Fex was growing a bit tired since he had used his influence skill a lot today, taking up his mental energy, he merely held out to achieve their goal. However, he would need a good rest after everything was over and done with. "Should we check up on Quinn?" Peter asked. "You two can go, but I don't want to get blasted again," Fex said as he looked down, noticing that his wound had finally healed. Just then, the beep sound of the door was heard. Knowing that it wasn't going to be Fex's roommates, everybody prepared themselves for the worst to come. Nevertheless, when they saw Logan enter the room with Quinn trailing him, they were able to relax a little. There were no teachers, and Logan no longer looked frightening without him donning the mech suit. "It's okay, guys, Logan knows everything," Quinn said. "Everything?" Peter asked. They thought that Quinn had lied, perhaps, or had only told the truth about Peter. But in reality, Logan knew more than everyone in the room. Logan now knew about the system as well as the vampires. Logan then pointed at Peter, and as he spoke to each person, he would move along to the next.
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.